Welcome to Early Access. I'm Katie Whitlock. I'm here with Olivia. Olivia, it's lovely to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, so great to be here.
If you wouldn't mind, would you mind telling the people a little bit about who you are? Maybe how old you are, your Enneagram number, maybe how you came to the Enneagram, all of that stuff.
Yeah, sounds great. So as Katie mentioned, I'm Olivia. I am 24 years old. I currently live in Phoenix with my husband, and I'm an Enneagram 1. I'm a social subtype, and I have a really strong 9 wing as well. So that's my Enneagram type. And I found the Enneagram actually when I was pretty young. My aunt was a therapist, and she counseled from the Enneagram. And so when I was like 10, probably, maybe 12, I was introduced to the Enneagram at a pretty young age. And pretty soon it was clear that I was a 1, even from a young age. So kind of have lived with that now, lived into my oneness for a while. And then in more recent years, my mom also became an Enneagram coach. So have kind of walked with her through that journey. And she's really done a lot with me too on some self-discovery. And just, I love the Enneagram as a tool for learning more about yourself, but then also learning about other people, the people in your life, the people that you love. And it's just a great tool to know that people don't all think the same way that you do. I think a lot of times we can just assume that, oh, of course, everyone thinks this or everyone feels this way. So Enneagram has been really helpful.
Which I think is especially prevalent in many types, but also ones being one of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I will include myself in that one as well, but I agree. Okay, you said your aunt was a therapist and you said your mom was an Enneagram coach. So you've been steeped in this stuff for a long time. Like you said, you say how old were you when your aunt first started kind of getting you into this stuff? You said you were young.
Yeah, I think around 12 probably was when I first was introduced.
So that brings up something interesting, which is like, can you type children or not, right? People have differing opinions on if you should type. Normally I'm talking to like parents. They're like, am I allowed to type my children, right? But you said it was pretty clear that you were a 1 from when you were a little girl. Yeah, and it was in conversations of just around all the types, kind of exploring them, talking to my parents about what types they are. And my aunt was kind of having those conversations. And I was such a nosy little kid. I wanted to be in every adult conversation. And so I was always listening in and always really had that desire for self-discovery and like bettering myself, you know, as a 1, as I do. And so even from a young age, I was like, okay, like I'm just interested in this. And I've always loved personality tests and all the things, but I think Enneagram just goes so much deeper beyond the surface too. So I've loved that. Yeah. Do you have siblings?
I have 1 younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me. And we just still are not quite clear on what her type is. So bounced around between a couple different types and just haven't really landed on where we think her core motivations really, really are.
That's crazy. What can I ask what numbers you were bouncing around on for her?
Yeah, when she was younger, we were thinking 6, but a lot of that just stemmed from the fact that she dealt with some anxiety growing up. And I think a lot of people can just be like, oh, 6, anxiety type.
Yeah.
Of course you're a 6. And we thought that for my dad too. Of course he's a 6. And then now as she's kind of gotten older and now she's in college and has kind of grown into herself a little bit more, she's thinking maybe she's a 2. It's interesting because her behaviors with our family don't usually present very 2 at all. So when she said that, I was like, I don't know if I believe you, but I'm not saying that to you. Yeah, right, you have to come to that conclusion on your own. But yeah, so that's been an interesting kind of seeing. But then there's also a lot of 7 energy that I feel like she presents to, life of the party, class clown, all that good stuff. But again, it's all that core motivation and really what's driving her behaviors. So I can't answer that for her. And I think she's still kind of exploring it and maturing into herself. So
and she's
only 21.
She's young.
She's got time.
I mean, we're all young. We're all under 30, right? Like we're all still children.
I know, I'm talking like I'm like this old mature woman at 24.
Okay, so that brings up actually a good topic. So let's talk about anxiety a little bit. Do you struggle with anxiety at all as a 1?
I have not.
Interesting.
I have not really struggled with anxiety. Yeah, throughout my life, I've kind of had just a confidence throughout my entire life. I think a lot of that comes from my mom being a 3 and like truly being my biggest cheerleader all growing up. Like just speaking so much life into me, speaking into me like, you can do quite literally anything you set your mind to. And I said, okay, I'll believe you. Yeah. Like, I believe this already. Like, sure. And so, yeah, I really haven't dealt with too much anxiety personally, but I've been around a lot of people who have, and my husband is a 6 and has dealt with some anxiety. So yeah, I've seen it a lot in people and have been grateful that I haven't had to walk that journey myself.
Do you know a lot about the stances of the Enneagram?
Yes, a bit.
So I always I bring that up only to say I get questions about like which number is the most anxious all the time, like in the classes I teach or whatever. And I say, one, like anybody can have anxiety. So the first answer is anybody can have anxiety. And it's not like every single person of any one number, like they're all going to have anxiety, right? It's not like all 6s struggle with it. But I do say that I think the responsive stance, so 1, 2, and 6, the dependent stance, whatever you call it, I think they are maybe more likely to struggle with anxiety just because you are focused on the world and you feel like you need to respond to the world, right? In different ways. 1s are responding to what needs to be done. 2s are responding to other people's feelings, and 6s are responding to the thinking that surrounds them, right? But so I imagine that would like create a little bit of anxiety. But I guess my question for you is, what does it, maybe this is a hard question to ask because you've never felt any other way. So maybe this is a hard question to answer. What does it feel like to be a responsive person, but not struggle with anxiety? Because I do often see those two things go very hand in hand, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I have a slightly different perspective through my faith. Like faith is a huge aspect for me. And I think as a 1, leaning into that has been super helpful because I could see how it would be so easy for a 1 to feel so anxious about everything that is going on in the world and everything that is wrong with the world because there is so much that is wrong. And it's so evident to 1s. And so if I didn't have that grounding of knowing who I am in the Lord and feeling secure in who he created me to be, and then also that he is making all things new, that he is perfect, so I don't have to be perfect, those truths and being able to lean back on that has been really helpful for me, I think. And so I could see how maybe not having that as a 1 would lead to a lot more just stress and feeling so nervous about everything that's going on because we aren't in control. And it's very evident, I think, to reactive types that we aren't in control. So yeah.
I hear a lot of 1s talk about how they feel like the whole world is theirs to fix. So we were, was it in Veronica's interview where we were talking about systems? Do you remember the one episode that just came out that you said you listened to? Do you remember if we said anything about systems?
I don't remember too much about systems.
Okay, that might have been another one I interviewed then. It definitely was. It was my friend Natasha. Hello, Natasha, if you're listening to this. So my friend Natasha, who's a 1, her interview will come out at some point. But she says that 1s see in systems. So what she means by that is it's if there's a problem, like at your workplace or whatever, or in your family, 1s can't just look at that little problem and say, let me fix this. It's always like this problem is indicative of a larger problem, and that problem is indicative of a larger problem in the system, and that system is broken because of this larger system above it, and then you have to fix all of it. Like the whole thing is your problem.
Yep. Yeah, that is like one of the most real things I've ever heard as a 1. And it is so true. Like in my job, we've been, creating this new budgeting tool for the whole, like my part of the organization. And as I'm trying to help them design this and come up with what we need, what our needs are for it and all this stuff, I'm like, well, we need this, but like, really, we shouldn't need that because this other thing should be fixed. And if that's fixed, then we won't need this. So like, it just truly is seeing like this one thing is wrong, but really that is like so much deeper. It goes so much deeper than what the surface is. And 1s are so good at seeing that. And it can be so frustrating because other people don't see it. And so then it feels like we have to like try and explain it, and we understand and we get what's wrong in the bigger picture, and other people can't like zoom out like that. So yeah, that really resonates.
So when I was talking to Natasha, we talked about that, but we didn't get into how frustrating that must be. And so listening, do you think it's that, or maybe it's both, like people either can't see that big or don't care to look that big, which I also imagine is frustrating. Like to me,
yeah, I think it's both.
To me, I want to say like, sure, maybe the system is messed up, but this little thing is the thing we need to fix right now. So I don't care about the rest of it, right? I mean, I do, but not like to fix this problem right now. But I don't know. I imagine both of those responses would be frustrating as a 1.
Yeah, that response to a 1 is frustrating, and I see that totally as a 3 of like, no, we're being efficient. We're just fixing this one
this
thing.
Is the
That's
problem.
the goal,
and then we're done.
This is our goal.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, no, this is like a bigger, deeper issue, and if we don't fix the root of it, it's just going to cause more issues for more people down the line. And so that can be something I've really had to like work on in my job. It's my first job in corporate America, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many things here that are so frustrating to me.
What did you say you do?
Oh, I don't think I got into that. I work as a budget analyst is my title, and I work for a really large global corporation. Or actually, they're not a corporation, they're privately owned, but a big company. And I work in their IT space, managing the financials. So I work with a lot of people who really don't like money, and I do the money for them. So I like the piece of I get a lot of opportunities to teach and help support and kind of give my expertise. Like, I know I'm good at this and I can help you because you're not, like, it's not your skill set. But then it can also lead to frustration when I'm like, you clearly do not care about this nearly as much as I care about this because we have different jobs. It is what it is.
Is it easy to say, well, it is what it is? Or do you often get stuck in like, I wish you cared about this more?
Yeah. I definitely get stuck in that I wish you cared about this more. And that's an interesting piece of 1s. I think there's a lot of things that we have to just say, it is what it is too. And that like pains us. And then that is kind of the sentiment that we tuck away over time that builds into that resentment piece that I think 1s that it's our like underlying, thing that we deal with is resentment. Yeah. And I think it is all those little frustrations that we just have to say, it's okay. It is what it is. It's fine, and kind of let go of. But really, are we letting go of it? I don't know if we're letting go of it. We're kind of tucking it away until it kind of is festering into that resentment piece.
That's really fascinating. I've never heard a 1 say that before. So maybe like if any 1s are listening to this, right? As a 1 yourself, how do you know when you're truly letting go of something versus when it's just being tucked away to be resented later? Like, how do those two things feel differently to you?
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting.
Was that a good question? Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. I think it was. I just haven't thought about it in that way because I think it's just something that we do in the moment. And maybe unless you're really like being intentional and like thinking about what am I actually doing with this thing? Like, then it just kind of gets lost. And like, maybe you don't even know that you didn't let go of it until it comes back up again. And then when it comes back up again, you're just like, okay, now I'm like double mad about this thing that I thought I had let go of.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back up and like, I'm still frustrated about it. And like, I've come across that with like things in my marriage and relationships and like all these things. And it's like, I really thought I had let go of this. Like, I thought it didn't matter to me anymore, but clearly it's coming up again. And like, it still feels bad. Yeah. So things that you do actually end up letting go for real, do you think you have to struggle with them first? Like, you have to feel the bad feelings. So all the 1s I know talk about, it's really hard for me to feel bad feelings. Like, I want to shove them away. I want to get back to the task. I don't want to deal with them. Because I think your line to feeling is 4, which means your emotions are very swirly. They're really hard to understand, all the things, right? So I think 1s just don't like looking at them. So maybe like part of growth for a 1 would be to realize like to let things actually go, you have to suffer through them first, which means so that if it just goes away and it's easy to put it away, maybe that's a sign that like it is going to come back later. Yeah, it could be. I think I've heard it said kind of in the therapy space of like, letting an emotion like move through your body. And I think that really resonates, especially being a body type of like, oh, like I do kind of need to like let these feelings move through my body and like feel them, and then like they can kind of move on. Like I can move on with it, but it does kind of take that like letting it sit for a minute and just being mad about it for a little bit, and then maybe I can move on with it. But yeah, it can be those things that I just try to say it's fine, doesn't matter, that then come back up and I'm like, oh, why are you still here?
Mattered. Yeah. I was talking to I think this also came from my friend Natasha, but we were talking about feeling your feelings, because I think both 1s and 3s are not great at that. Just in the sense, like, we would like to be done with this feeling as soon as possible, right? And get back to what we obviously all want to get back to, which is the thing we were doing, right? Whatever that may be.
Right.
And she was saying, actually, I'm interested to see if you relate to this or if you relate to the inverse of this, because I hadn't heard any other one talk about it when she said it. She said that she actually can recognize the physical sensations of a feeling easier than she can say, oh, that's me being sad. Like, she would recognize that, like, my throat feels tight, my body feels tight, like my eyes are getting watery, like stuff like that. But it was really hard for her to learn to say, oh, that's sadness, like I'm feeling sad. Because she said she thinks it's because she's a body type, like the sensations are so much easier for her to notice. Whereas I said mine were the opposite. Like, I'm very good at saying, oh, I'm really feeling sad today. But I very rarely notice, like, oh, that means my chest is tight, or that means whatever. Like, it's hard to talk. Yeah. Whatever. What do you think about that? Which side of that are you on?
I definitely lean more on the body side of it, like what she was saying.
Crazy.
I'm like, oh, yeah, like I don't know if I would have like been able to say that, but then when you're describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, like and I've always been a person who's like a very quick to cry, like tender, like in my body of like what I'm feeling. I like just I know it, but I don't like maybe know how to articulate it. But yeah, some of my free friends, that sounds super similar to them, where it's like they can like very bluntly say this is the feeling, but then like actually like interacting with it, they just like don't even know what to do with that.
I literally was just on a call. I had an example of this happen to me yesterday. So I had a work thing yesterday that I felt like I didn't do that great of a job at, and it, for like lots of reasons, it just like spiraled. Like I was like walking home from it, and I was like spiraling. I was like, I didn't do a good job. They hate me. Like, they paid me this money and it sucked, and like all this stuff. So I called my coaching friend, who we actually did an Enneagram cohort together. So I called her and I was like, I need you to talk me off of a ledge. Like, I think that they just think I'm the worst person ever. I did a horrible job, all the things. And we talked about it, and basically I said at some point on the call, I was like, you know what's really happening? Because I was telling her, I was like, I feel this way. Like, I know this is connected to my shame. I'm shameful because of this. That's making me feel this. That's making me feel this. And I was very good at like articulating all those things. But physically, I was just like standing in my living room, like not crying. I wasn't like, my voice was steady, like all the stuff. And I was like, you know what's really happening? I told her on the phone, I was like, I want to stop feeling bad as soon as possible. Like, I feel bad. And then I was trying to describe like how I physically felt, and I couldn't. I was like, I feel horrible though. That's like all I could come up with. Like, I knew all the emotions, but physically I just like wanted to crawl out of my skin. Like, that's what it felt like, because I hated it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and the way I feel like I will move through feelings like that, like if something like that happened to me, I'm like, okay, I need to go and like actually just sob my eyes out for 15 minutes, maybe shorter.
Yeah.
Like, we could probably get it done in 3. Just cry it out. We'll get it out of, let it move through my body, and we'll be done with these emotions. And I think a piece of that too. So sometimes I kind of like to silk in them if I'm in my 4, and I want people to know that they don't understand me. and I want to sit with those bad feelings for a little bit longer. But most of the time, no, I want to get them over with.
And I just want to be done. I was like, I don't like feeling, because it made me feel like, well, it made me ashamed. That's what it was. Like, it connected back to the shame of 3, right? And that just feels horrible. Like, obviously, threes are trying to outrun that at all times, right? So it just feels horrible. But it is the, like, I want to be done feeling this. Because I think feelings, maybe to both of us, I wonder what you think about this, feel like something that you need to get out of the way so that you can, like, get back to regular life. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I feel like I have come to see more value in my feelings over time. And it's something I'm definitely still like working on, because I do feel like there's something valuable about feelings, right? Like,
right?
God gave us for a reason. the two of us are trying to figure this out.
They probably exist for a reason.
Yeah. And it's easy. It can be easy for me to kind of lean into those like high side feelings, or the ones that feel positive. But I think for me as a one, I can really condemn my feelings if they don't align with what I feel like I should be feeling in a moment. And so a lot of times it's like that can become, I'm disappointed about something, or I'm sad about something, but I don't feel like I should be. So then I just get mad about it, and then I just push it away, because I'm like, oh, that's not the appropriate feeling for this time. We'll deal with that later, or hopefully we won't deal with it at all. But I think that's kind of a way I can see it sometimes too.
And what determines which emotion is appropriate? Like, where does that come from?
I think it's just an arbitrary internal thing I've decided for myself. And I think there's a piece of it that feels like it's a cultural thing, that we kind of have these feelings we've deemed as like acceptable and good. And of course you should feel happy and joyful and all these things, but try to get out of sadness as fast as possible, because that's going to make people uncomfortable. And definitely probably don't be mad, because if you show that, then you're not being, a good Christian woman, and you shouldn't be angry. And so I think there's some of those feelings that even culturally we kind of have a perception of, that then I've just kind of adopted. But I've definitely been trying to like lean into those more, especially the anger piece, because it's just something I can't escape. Like, it just is something I deal with. And the more I try to escape it, the more it becomes that resentment, because I'm pushing it away and it's not going away. It's just becoming resentment. I don't want to be a resentful person. And so the more I can just address my anger in the moment, then we can do what we talked about earlier and actually move on from it, let it flow through, and then move on with our lives. But yeah.
Is it, oh my gosh, I have like 5 questions based off of that. Okay, let's talk about anger, because you brought it up. I'm very interested to hear how you feel about your anger. So when I talked to Jeff Cook about his anger, Jeff, hello, because you're going to listen to this. And I brought this up to I've talked to 5 female ones in the past week, and I brought this up every time because I think it's really interesting. So Jeff will talk about his anger, and he says it's really fueling for him. He can, I wish he was here. I don't think he would say it's always great. I think a lot of ones have some shame around their anger, but it's fueling for him. He can turn it into something. When he gets mad about something, then he can turn it into something. I'm wondering, because of your gender and also your faith background too, right? Because women aren't supposed to be angry, like you just said. Do you feel that way about your anger? Is it fueling for you, or does it just feel bad?
I feel like for me, I'm learning ways to feel like it's not bad. It's something I'm like trying to grow into. But I think before more Enneagram awareness, like it was just bad. Like I shouldn't be feeling like that. I shouldn't have those feelings. And so then they got tucked away. Like I would say a lot of ones would probably be really sad if someone thought that they were an angry person. Like if anyone perceived me as angry, that would make me not feel good. Like that's the opposite of what I'm trying to be in this world. Like I'm trying to be a good person. And if I have this perception that my anger is bad, if someone perceived me as bad or as angry, I would then be bad. And so I think it is something I haven't seen really in that way as often. I will say I call my anger frustration a lot. I like to call my anger a lot of other things. Other than anger. It has a lot of names.
What else do you call it? Frustration?
Disappointment. But yeah, disappointment and frustration are probably the two that I lean on the most. that are probably actually anger. If I'm saying I'm like, my husband will say, "Why are you mad?" I'm like, "I'm not mad. I'm just frustrated." It's like, okay,
just like that. I'm not mad. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not mad. I'm just frustrated.
Got it.
So that happens a lot. And then I have to come to terms. It confronts me and I'm like, okay, so I am mad. Yeah. I am angry. That is what this is. But I think a lot of times when I'm talking to someone and it's about something that I'm frustrated about, something that I'm angry about, it kind of feels and sounds like this, like a gossipy teenager, and it fuels in that way for me. Like we're talking about it, just like I can get it out and I can feel frustrated and I can talk about my things I'm frustrated about, and then it like feels a little bit better, but it's not actually like productive in any way. Then I just sound like I'm complaining, which I am, but it's about things I'm frustrated about, and it kind of feels like that.
Well, and I imagine, speaking of crying and being a woman, I don't know if this happened to you when you were 14, but when I was 14, I just started crying every day for no reason for like 6 months. And and that's a little dramatic, but I remember my mom, I would just have these like big crying fits, like at least every other day. And my mom was like, "This is normal. It's your hormones." And I would be actively crying, and I would be like, "I'm not even sad about anything. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm just crying." And my mom, to her credit, she's a great, great mother. And she's like, "It's normal. You're 14. This is just what happens to some women when they get to be 14, right?" And what she told me about crying then, I remember it to this day. She's like, sometimes you really need to cry because it lets it out, and then you can like go do something, right? And then you can be okay afterwards. But sometimes you just have to let it out. And I only bring up that story because it sounds like when you just talked about your anger, like it feels like gossiping, and it just like you get to let it out. Like that's what it sounded like almost, right?
Yeah.
It's maybe not super productive to engage in this, but it is helpful in some way.
Yeah. And I would say like I have my safe people who I can do that with and who I do that with. And I would hope I would never be that person to the whole world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I agree. It's not a productive way to be in the world, to just be complaining and be frustrated all the time. But when I can have those times with the people that I trust to have those conversations with, it does then feel better, I think, afterwards. So yeah, I would agree with that.
What has been your journey to like start to accept your anger? Like, was there anything that kickstarted that, or like how have you come to terms with your anger? I imagine there are a lot of other ones out there that feel like their anger is not something they should ever give in to, right? But like you said, it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. So
yeah, and I think at first it was honestly just learning how to name it, because I didn't recognize it as anger for a really long time. It was just, oh, I'm frustrated, or, you know, it was these other words. So even just the step of being able to take those things and then recognize them as, oh, that actually is anger, was a huge step, I think, for me. And even one I still can be needing to take now. Like I'll still fall back into those habits of just calling it something else and thinking it's not anger, but then really the best way I can process it is if I call it what it actually is and deal with it like it is. And then also I think for me, recognizing that my anger really isn't always bad is huge, because there are things that it is actually good and right for me to be angry about. And if I'm not, that's just being dishonest with myself, and that's not being, you know, honoring to the situation if I'm not actually feeling that anger, that righteous anger towards it. And so also taking that step of, you know, I don't actually have to call all my anger bad, because some anger is actually is what it is, you know? Yeah.
Like you said, righteous anger. Like it's you should be upset when things are unfair, right? Like that's good.
Yeah. That justice piece, definitely. As a body type, it's like there are things in this world that I should be angry about. Yeah.
Connect justice to being a body type for me, because I know, for anyone who doesn't know, like 8, 9s, and 1s, they're all body types. Justice is a really big thing with all of these numbers, and people talk about it. They're like, you know, all these numbers are concerned with autonomy. They're concerned with, you know, being able to make their own decision, and people always wrap justice up in that as well. And I think that makes sense but I don't know if I've ever had a body type explain like why that is so connected to like being a body type for them. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Where does that come from?
I think a lot of it just truly stems from the body type's deep knowing of things. And for me, that is like, I see a situation and I just like know if that is right or wrong. And obviously there's room for error. You know, I could be wrong on occasions, but truly as a body type, I think a lot of body types I've talked to would agree that you feel it, you know, in your gut what is right and what is wrong in that situation. And that has a huge connection to justice, because justice often is about things in the world that are not right, or things in a relationship that are not right, and trying to make those things right. And so by having the body type piece of just knowing that in your gut, that then leads to that desire for it to become right. You know, you want to feel like it's right in your body. And the only way for that to happen is through that justice piece.
Yes. Okay. That makes perfect sense to me. Thank you.
Cool. As I was saying, I don't know if I've ever
I think that's phenomenal.
thought about this, but
I always, in my classes, it's always interesting when I get to body types, because I think I've said this on a podcast before, but when I get to 8, 9s, and 1s and I start talking about that, they just know. And other numbers don't understand that. And like they think that they also know, right? They're like, oh, I do that too. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it. I'm always like, I can't explain it to you because I'm not a body type. I ask all the body types in the room. I'm like, can you explain how you know what you know? Like, can you help us at all? And all of them are like, no, I can't explain it. I just do. Like, you just have to take my word for it. It just comes from like within me. And then I go, yep. And then we kind of move on. Cause like, there's you can't explain it. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Which is a crazy thing to say. Just trust
me.
Like,
yeah.
I know in my body. So just believe me, because it's like a trump card.
Right. It is almost.
I'm a body type.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it feels like intuition. Like, it feels like just a knowing of things. Like, we'll joke even just like in the kitchen, like, of course I just know how much of this seasoning to add. And of course I just don't set a timer on my phone for when the cookies are done. I'll just know when they're done. Like, it's even just weird things like that my mom as a 3 is like, I
could never. That's so funny that you bring up the timer example. So I'm a bartender at night, and I serve at this very like fine dining restaurant, and it's multi-course, right? So what happens is when you're sitting at the table eating, I am watching, and when you get to about halfway through, I tell the kitchen to start making your next course, right? Basically.
Okay.
And other people, I'm so interested to go to work tonight because I'm going to try to like see who's good at it and who's not. But other people make fun of me because every single time I tell the kitchen to start cooking, you have about 8 minutes. You have 8 to 10 minutes before that food hits the table is what we say. And every single time, I probably do it 30 times a night, I have to set a timer on my Apple Watch because my body has no idea when 8 minutes has gone by. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm so busy that if I don't set a timer and it won't buzz me on my wrist, I won't know and I'll miss it. And I'm so...
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think I work with a few 9s, and they're like, they make fun of me for that because they're like, what do you mean you don't know? And I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know. But I wonder if that's like sort of like a body type thing. Like they just feel that about 10 minutes has gone by.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or just they perceive it. They kind of know where they're at in the meal. Like, I don't know. It is just kind of a moving throughout the world, feeling like you're just aware of the world and how that feels to you. You know, like I walk into a Walmart and I feel fine, but my husband, I mean, it's also because he's a 6, but he's like hyper aware of like everything that's going on around him, like keeping an eye on everyone and feeling like he needs to like be aware of his surroundings. And I walk out, I'm like, oh yeah, totally like felt fine. Like not an issue. And he's like, oh no, did you see all of these people? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like I felt fine. Like I felt safe. So I was, and we were fine. Like I don't need to be scanning like that because I just kind of feel it. That's
really interesting because I hear a lot of 6 say that they're intuitive as well. and maybe they're intuitive in certain ways, but I think you actually would have a great comment on this because your husband's a 6. What they're doing is they're picking up on like actual environmental information and then like making a call based on that, which is not the intuition that we're talking about, right? That's just like noticing things and being smart about them versus an actual intuition that comes from within you, not based on anything that you like can't explain, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely making his decisions. He makes great decisions. He is super responsible, all those things, but it's based on facts about things. It's based on information he's gathered. It's based on all these things he's taking in. It's not just a gut feeling. Like if I tell him like I'm doing something and it's just based on a gut feeling, he's like, what are you talking about? Right. So yeah,
I imagine
I would say that's true.
for a 6-2 out of all numbers, they'd be like a gut feeling, right? Because that's like what's severed in a 6 is like they don't have anything to trust in themselves, right? Like that.
Yeah. Well, and I talk so much. Vibes are such a thing, I think, for body types. Like, I don't know, it just is actually a thing. And I kind of hate the word, but like vibes is just it's a real feeling. And he hates that so much as a 6. He's like, vibes, that's not a thing. Like, there's no such thing as that. And I'm like, no, it is. Like, you don't feel the vibe right now? Like, get with the program. It's a vibe.
And what I'm imagining, like me as a 3, the vibe I'm talking about, like if I say, oh, the vibes are off, what I've actually picked up on is like people's facial expressions, right? Like I'm actually looking at people and like something's wrong. But that's still me taking in specific information and then making a decision based off of it, right? Where you're saying yours is just it's nothing. Like it's just, oh, the vibes are off.
Yeah, like I'm not very perceptive about people's emotions, like because I'm not in that heart triad, I feel like. So that can be a little bit harder. But yeah, just like mostly like the feel of an environment. We as I said, we live in Phoenix right now. And Phoenix as a city is like not my favorite place. And it's like purely based on the feel of the place. Like the feel of the city, the environment, the roads, like literally all the environmental factors. I'm like, the vibe is not my vibe. Like it's not, it's
and that's it. Vibe. Yeah, it's just not for me.
Phoenix is not my vibe. And my husband would literally have no clue what I'm talking about. And he's like, that's not a thing. And like, no, it is, but you don't have it, and that's okay. We're different.
Does he like Phoenix?
Yeah, he likes Phoenix, but primarily it's because he loves his job. We have good community here, so it's about other factors. But for me, the place just matters so much to me, and I think a piece of that is that like body type. Like a 9 would probably say the same thing. That place matters to them for their inner peace. And for me as a body type, I think that resonates.
And place is the place that you are talking about. It's not like made up of people. Like for me, my city, I mean, I do love my city, but I love it mostly because like my people are here. Right? You know what I mean? So the place that I live in my brain is made up of my connections here. Whereas I think I hear you saying that certainly is a factor, right, to why I like it here or don't. But the place itself is separate from that.
Like I would say that's definitely true. Like I love my community too here. I have great friends. I have great people, but I still wouldn't say I love Phoenix.
That's separate from Phoenix. You know? Yeah. The physical place.
They're separate.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes ago, you mentioned going to 4, and you mentioned feeling like nobody gets me, right? Like when I'm in 4, nobody gets me. I'm, in deep 4, all this stuff. I think 4 is a really hard place for ones to talk about, like I said, because it's the shame and the guilt and all the things. And just based off that, I actually am really interested. I think you talk about it well. What does being in 4 feel like, and what gets you there, and what gets you out of there? What's that journey like as a 1?
I think a lot of different things can move you to your stress number. So I don't necessarily know if there's like a couple specific things I could point to for that, but I mean, it feels a little bit like you're in a deep little pit. I don't know why I said little. Like, it feels like you're kind of in a pit, but like it's okay. Like, it's almost like that you're in this pit, but you kind of know it's to protect you for a little bit. And it's a place where you can then like go to those depths of those emotions and just like feel them. And it's like a safe place to do that. At least that's kind of where I've come to with my 4, is like it's a place that's deep and it feels dark and it feels a little scary, but it's actually a safe place to then feel those feelings. And yeah, and then you kind of have to sit in them for a while there to move out of it. Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
So do you think you stop, like, do you stop feeling guilty about having feelings in 4? Like, is that what's happening?
I think there's a piece of that.
Where you get more curious?
Like, it's a place where I go and I kind of like them. Like, I come to a place where I'm like, I just like feeling sad right now. I like just being unhappy for a little bit, and I like kind of feeling some of those emotions that maybe I would rather not feel most of the time. And it's kind of a place where I can come and become friends with them for a little bit. And I think that's kindness to myself, to allow myself to like feel those, because I don't think I would do that on a normal day. So yeah.
Do you feel more connected to yourself in 4?
Yeah, I think at times I can. And then when I kind of come out from it, then I'm a little like disoriented of like, oh, like who was that?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So moving on.
That's embarrassing. Never mind.
Yeah. We're just gonna leave that. A lot of times when I'm in 4, I feel like it's independent of other people. Like I prefer to be in those spaces alone. It's kind of, it feels very vulnerable and exposing if it is with other people, even safe people. It feels very exposing. So a lot of times it is me just like, I'm gonna go be in my room and like cry by myself. I also love the parts of 4 that I can lean into where I kind of become more creative. I love then like creating things, and art is a piece of who I am that I think people wouldn't expect just like meeting me on a daily basis. So I kind of like that piece of 4. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, I kind of like the part of being a 4 or going to 4 where I'm like, oh, no one gets me. Like I'm a little unique and special right now. And like, yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
What does, do you feel like you can talk about 7 at all too? Cause that's your other line. What does that feel like?
Yeah, a bit. People love when I go to 7. I get so fun.
I ones have told me, it's like a joke now in my classes to say that like ones all have like a vacation persona, because I've had so many ones tell me like when I go on vacation, it's like a different version of me. And in the Enneagram, we'd say, you know, it's because you're going to 7, right? You're secure and all that stuff, whatever. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, totally. I think it is around those like safe people in my life, my close friends and things like that. There was a joke in college that when it got late at night and we were just like hanging out, there would be late night Liv who would all of a sudden have like no filter and would say anything and was hilarious and, you know, all the things. And yeah, I think 7 honestly has been a little more sad for me to come to terms with, that I can't just like be there all the time, you know? It feels like one where I come back to being my one self. I'm like, I'm so boring. And like, that's so unfortunate. But like, I think that's one I could use a little more perspective on, like, okay, no, this is a gift that you get to experience in those moments when you feel safe and when you feel, you know, when you're growing, and it doesn't have to be all the time, because 7s, you know, have so much of their own, you know, weight to carry of feeling exhausted, and 1s, 4s, and 7s all being in that frustration triad. We all have that burden of like, things just are never going to live up to our expectations. And so, you know, that I don't get to escape that.
I was just about to say, you don't even get to go anywhere that gives you not that. Yeah. That's great. Okay, here I have 2 more questions for you, and then we'll be done. What do you feel like people misunderstand the most about 1s? If you could get everybody to know one thing about what it is to be a 1, What would you say?
I think a lot of times people can stereotype ones into like, they're so organized, they're so in the gym all the time, they're so like caring about their body and things like that. That's a very self-pres one thing. That's the stereotypical kind of one. But I think just understanding that one goes so much deeper to actually like the depths we care about moral goodness. Like that's what we ultimately care about. And a lot of times we kind of cope with the fact that that's never going to happen with kind of perfecting our surroundings. And we kind of try to take into control all the things that we can control, because it feels like the thing that we actually care the most about will never be like what we hope it will be.
I think that's great. I think it's great. I see, I've said this before again, but I think I see in ones like a struggle, like what it means to be a human, like the struggle for humanity. I actually think I see that most in ones, because it's such this dichotomy between like the moral goodness versus just like what it is to be a human. So I think the beauty of that actually ones show in a way that a lot of other numbers don't. So I think that's great.
Yeah, we can really see the hope, I think, as ones. Like we know like how it could be. And I think again that really goes back to my faith too, of like I know as a one it is not how it was meant to be. And not the hope of the fact that someday it will be is one thing that I think I can cling to as a one. That can be a real gift that faith offers. So yeah.
I agree. I think ones hold the balance between who we could be and who we are, because that's a very delicate balance. And I think a healthy one holds that in like a very, very good way, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of times it can be easy for me to see that I'm holding it in a judgmental way. So reminding myself that it actually, I do have the capacity to hold that in a very loving and kind way.
And we need, like, humanity is made up of 9 different numbers, right? Like one of them needs to be reminding us where we could be, right? Like somebody needs to be doing that, you know, like that's required for like forward movement. And like you said, hope, like that's what hope is, right? Where can we go? Where should we be? All the things.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of hope and going forward, now I'm going to go back. So you're 24 now. So we're going to go back 10 years and you're 14. You're in the room with your 14-year-old self. What do you tell her?
I thought about this one quite a bit before, because I was like, oh gosh, there's so many things I feel like I could say. But I think the 2 biggest pieces I took away was telling her to be gentle with herself, and also telling her just to not take herself so seriously all the time. And I think those are both gifts that we could offer ourselves as ones, to just be a little kinder with ourselves, and then also know that it's not always so serious.
Yeah. Not everything is your job. Like it's okay. Right.
Totally.
Well, this was lovely, Olivia. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me. It was so fun.
I think you talk in a way that I haven't heard a lot of ones talk about themselves. So thank you for being so open and vulnerable and everything.
Yeah, of course.
It was lovely to meet you.